Leeds United need a goalkeeper upgrade. Let's be completely honest about that. It's been a position that is relatively weak for a few seasons now, and whilst Darlow is okay, he's not the best of goalkeepers. You probably need to improve, and there's a few types to consider. You can go with an old veteran, like Darlow falls into that category, or a youngster that is in need of minutes from a top club. And I am honestly a big fan of the latest link between Leeds United and a young goalkeeper, because Leeds have been linked with a move for an international keeper that's getting fairly consistent minutes internationally, but not at his club, which is a fun little thing to discuss. But first, if you're not subscribed yet, please do so. I'm trying to get the subscribers as high as possible before the Creator Cup, because on the day of the Creator Cup, I'm going to be donating as many pennies as I have subscribers to Prostate Cancer UK. So that would be a great way of supporting the charity with just one click down here. On that note, need to discuss the Leeds Creator Cup, happening on the 20th of July, John Charles Centre for Sport. All of your favourite Leeds creators will be there playing against one another for the trophy, and it will be a fantastic day. Very, very, very fun time. Tickets are £7 for adults, £3 for kids. You can get them down below, or you can attend for free if you are looking to be a steward or something along those lines, because we need a few volunteers to do things. Anyway, back on topic. Let's have a talk about Daniel Perz, who is a goalkeeper at Bayern Munich, who has been sort of struggling to get minutes. That's why he's potentially going to be on the move this summer, because he's sort of loose in the wind, accessible, and looking to develop, as you will see with a lot of young goalkeepers when they are at top clubs. Think Kelleher as another example. In terms of young, he is only 24 years of age, and he is also an international player for Israel, which kind of works in our favour, because he will have been having conversations with Manor Solomon all the time about, well, just life, I suppose, which will have involved talking a little bit about Leeds United, especially if there is anything to these links, which have been not recommended, which have been put out by Bild, a fairly reputable outlet over in Germany, who are pretty good for German football stuff. On the subject of pretty good, how good is Daniel Perz? This is a pretty good question that everyone is going to be having, because that matters. You don't want to sign a goalkeeper that doesn't have it, and this is a weird way of phrasing it. A couple of years ago, he seemed absolutely incredible. He broke onto the scene playing for, I believe, Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa Conference League, off the top of my head, where he vastly outperformed all of the underlying metrics, everything along those lines. But since then, moved to Bayern Munich and has sort of struggled for minutes since, which we are going to do because Manuel Neuer is their first-choice goalkeeper. He's not exactly someone that you just barge your way through if you are a good, promising talent, which means that there is a question around why he would make a move right now, and it is a pretty damn obvious reasoning. First, Bayern's perspective. They have a talented player that they signed 2 or 3 years ago that just isn't getting minutes, which means that you can't really judge his level because he's not playing against anybody. You can't see how he does on a consistent basis because you're not playing him on a consistent basis. But also, as Bayern, when you lost the Bundesliga last season, you're not realistically going to be one of throwing minutes to goalkeepers that aren't your first choice, because you know that your ability to win titles is a little bit vulnerable at the moment. So you probably send him out on loan somewhere for a little bit. Whereas when it comes to him, he's going to want game time to sort of prove his level to the national team. At a national team level, Israel have played 6 matches recently, of which 3 different keepers have had 2 each. They don't have a firm set number 1 right now. He's in the conversation very, very firmly. Again, being a goalkeeper at Bayern and having a very clearly good level is absolutely going to work in your favour in that regard. But if he wants to become a consistent number 1, he's going to have to force his way in there. And the only way you do that is by playing consistent football. He'll want game time to develop and to show off that, look, I'm a really good goalkeeper and you are missing out if you don't pick me for all of the international matches. In addition to that, Leeds clearly need a goalkeeper. Ilham Melier is almost certainly on the way out. His house has been sold or is being sold, something along those lines. So unless he fancies a move completely out of nowhere, coincidentally, at the same time as he's changing clubs, I would be very surprised if we're not changing goalkeeper this summer. Whether it's for a loan keeper, a permanent keeper, I would probably lean permanent, but Perez looks like a very good option. This deal being done is a win-win-win. Nobody loses, except a couple of little challenges with getting it done. And these are reasonably significant challenges because first, There's a bit of interest from other clubs. Obviously, having interest from other sides is sometimes going to be a little bit of a problem for you, but it's the specifics of the sides that could cause a problem. First up, you've got Burnley, who are a fairly decent team who have spent last season relying fairly heavily on James Trafford. And that could work somewhat in our favour, because if you're Perez and you're looking at this, you're like, I don't really want to have to play in James Trafford's shadow and be a good goalkeeper in the place where there was an excellent goalkeeper last season. Could be not good for him in terms of morale and stuff. But PSV are the one that spooked me a little bit, because they, I believe, will have European football next season, which is something that might draw him back in, which could be a little bit spooky, in my opinion. Ideally, the Premier League is a bigger draw than European football, but it's always hard to say which way that's going to fall. And in addition to that, I've included this under the challenges section, but it's really not. His wages are very feasible for us. Just under £25,000 a week, which is a fairly cheap wage for the Premier League if you're considering the amounts of money that are thrown around nowadays, especially if he's going to become a starting goalkeeper, because he's not exactly able to negotiate with us to earn more money because it'd be based on his Bayern contract. That'd only happen if we bought him permanently, which I wouldn't mind, but even then, we're not going to be splashing insane amounts of wages on someone that is unproven at the top tier. Unproven is maybe a little bit of a risk, sure, but I think when it comes to goalkeepers, that's a bit less valid, because the one thing that you do is you stop the ball going in the back of your net. If people want to say Premier League proven goalkeeper, at the end of the day, a shot is a shot, and you stop it or you don't. It's a bit of an odd one to me. At the end of the day, the final question that we need to ask ourselves is, do we do it? And for me, I think we absolutely do. Perez is very, very clearly a good player. He has a lot of potential to go forward and evolve and become top tier and properly grab that number one spot for his national team. And it'd be a very affordable move for us to make, which would leave more budget open for everywhere else we need a player. Striker, 10, left back, potentially right back, central midfield. There's a lot of places we need to make upgrades and make changes right now. And for me, this saves a little bit of cash, gets us pointed in the right direction, and ultimately benefits everyone involved except the clubs that we beat to him. So I would do this. But as always, I kind of want to know what you guys think on this one. Let me know in the comments below. I'll say simple yes or no. Would you sign Daniel Perez? I think he's a very, very good player and is worth the time and attention, but I'm kind of curious about your opinions. If you haven't yet, I'd hugely appreciate you popping a like on the video or subscribing. Again, that's really helping Prostate Cancer UK out, as is becoming a channel member. $2.99 a month, you get videos like this one early, and channel revenue right now is going towards organising the Creator Cup, and anything that doesn't go towards organising it is going towards the pot at the end of the day for what we give to Prostate Cancer UK. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. Big Creator Cup announcements coming soon as well. Be there. It'll be great. Ta-ra.